evolution of slots, from land-based to online and beyond.
So the evolution of slots, I'm Darryl, I'm CEO of Wicked Games. I'm here to talk about the evolution of slots from land-based to online and beyond. This is specifically about slots and where we are in the future, because I believe that the slots are possibly the perfect gaming mechanic. I think they'll be around for a while. So I just wanted to explore the future of it. Normally when people talk about slot machines, the development of slots, they start with the Liberty Bell, which was designed in 1894 by Charles Fay. It was the first totally automated payout system. But I want to go back a little bit earlier to what made it all possible. That was the minting of the first coins. It was by the Lydians, who were 1000 BC, occupied Western Turkey. They minted the first coin in 625 BC. And about 10 minutes later, they invented the first coin toss, I would believe. Now, the first vending machine was 700 years later. It was in the 1st century AD. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about vending machines when I'm specifically talking about slots. But I consider vending machines to be almost the perfect gaming device as well. When I see a vending machine, I see something like this. It's a one-armed bandit that dispenses anything from chips to condoms to mobile phones. And I want to compare briefly why I think of vending machines as gaming machines. First of all, you got a low RTP. If you look at the one on the left-hand side, despite the build-up of drinks, I believe that that's an enticement to play this game. That's a challenge that's been laid down. We also have high volatility with the mechanics being caught and the occasional big win as well. So for me, they are slot machines. Now back to this first vending machine. It was designed by Heron of Alexandria. It was to dispense holy water. As if I didn't know I thought there was an honour system with holy water, but no, they didn't trust them to use the required amount. So you drop a 1 drachma coin in the top of the slot, it lands on that platform and weighs it down and lifts up the plunger to dispense holy water. When the platform gets to a certain level, the coin drops off, it resets and turns off the tap. So it took another 1800 years before we had the first poker machine. Now, I'm an Australian. We say poker machines. So I'm very pleased that in 1889, the very first poker machine appeared. It was a 5-drum setup with 10 poker cards on each drum that delivered an outcome that paid on given poker hands. The problem was that they were so complex, the hands were so complex that they had to have an honour system and they had to be read manually. But in 1894, Charles Fay invented what we now call the first modern poker machine with the Liberty Bell. Immediately after that, of course, the regulators stepped in and started to have their way with it. But the operators liked it because the Liberty Bell ran at a 37% return to player, which is a phenomenal amount. Given all of the regulations that were implemented, in 1907, Mills invented the operator's bell, which introduced fruit symbols for the very first time. That was a way to make it more friendly, make it less of a game. I mean, how offensive can fruit be? They also dispensed gum sticks. So if you were out of town and you played one of these games, you'd win gum sticks. But if you're a local, nod, wink, wink, the operator will buy the gum stick off you. So it was a way of getting around the regulators of the time. In 1963, Bally invented the first electromechanical reel games. And what this allowed was a far bigger hopper, far bigger distribution of prizes. It could also put multiple coins in the slot and bet on a single outcome. So that was a huge boon for them. It also it had less wear and tear. Now in 1976, Fortune Coin Company invented the first video slot. It was basically a television screen with a logic board behind it. IGT bought them out in 1978. Now, in 1996, this is when we had a huge leap forward in slot machines. So WMS invented the first multi-line slot, where previously all the money was made on nickels and dimes and quarters. For the first time, the penny slot just became enormous. For such an innocuous term, a penny slot, you could bet far more on one of these machines than you could on a quarter. So for the first time, slot machines overtook overtook table games in land-based casinos. Now, in 1998, microgaming created the very first online slot game. It had a wide area network jackpot, and which was also the first online jackpot, and was very successful. It opened the way for Playtika and CryptoLogic and NetEnt. And there was an online race to see who could get the biggest and best slots. Now, Playtika changed the game again in 2010 when they released the first social slot. They also, with that, they bought data optimization information, free-to-play games, leaderboards. All of this is now crossing over into online real money gaming. But at the time, it was phenomenal. They rewrote the marketplace with this social casino. In 2013, satoshiDICE was the first crypto game. Now, it's not a slot, but the technology it used is now coming into its own as far as slots are concerned. So that is a significant advance as well. Previously, I've been talking about the machines themselves, but there are also some game mechanics that have huge milestones. So in 1986, IGT created the first wide area network jackpot with their megabucks. In 1996, IGT did it again with Wheel of Fortune, which dominated the landscape on land-based gaming slots for the next 20 years. In 2008, Aristocrat created Real Power, which totally changed how line games work and our understanding of line games. Now, 2012, Starburst came out with it, which is probably what is the poster child for operant conditioning. They created this thing that any lobby you go into in Europe and online, you can be sure that Starburst is there because it's such an easy way to introduce the player to this concept of playing online. In 2015, Big Time Gaming created Megaways, which just went off. And about the same time, it was still 2015 where Lightning Link, Aristocrat's Lightning Link went off, and then Push Gaming's Cluster Pays also appeared in the first year. So that was significant. Now we come up to the present, 2023, and we find that what the lockdown did for online gaming, it virtually shut down land-based gaming overnight, and so the whole world turned to online gaming. Suddenly you can play it in your lounge room, on the train, and the technology advanced at such a pace. Now the mobile phones also complemented this changeover into online gaming. It was a considerable movement. Now, if we look at where we'll be in 2030, with augmented reality, suddenly we'll be able to play any game anywhere in the world. It may even be the next pandemic that really kicks this thing off, and you'll be able to play in your lounge room with your brother who lives on the other side of the world, and choose any game you like, and you'll be able to share a drink and play any game with your brother, your best friend, anyone. By 2050, I think virtual reality and total immersion will be in full swing. Now, the contact lens there I've shown is available. Well, that was made a couple of years ago by Mojo Vision. So it was probably a little bit heavy, hard to blink, but by 2050, you'll have such a flexible, tiny little computer in this bit of plastic that you wear in your eye. It may even be powered by blinking or solar power, I don't know. But what it allows you to do is you'll be able to visit anywhere in the universe and play any game anywhere. So you could be sitting in your own lounge room wearing this contact lens, and the AI says, "Oh, would you like to join us on Kepler 465b for a game of your favourite casino?" And you go, oh, yes, certainly. I say, would you like Brad Pitt to be shirtless and your dedicated croupier? Fantastic, count me in. So you'll be able to play that anywhere. You like that? But what I really want to talk about now is where we will be, what changes will happen in the next 7 years that will be significant for us. So I think the provably fair algorithm, blockchain, artificial intelligence, the regulations and harmonisation, these will all work in together. I'm already using artificial intelligence to create backgrounds on our slot games. But in the future, when you've got synaptic connections and neural networks and these contacts in your eyes, artificial intelligence will be able to determine dangerous behaviour in your play. So that will be able to moderate what you do. The blockchain will have immutable evidence of every single transaction, and provably fair algorithms with that is going to give the player confidence. So I believe that all of these, anyone who can embrace all of this in the next 7 years are going to be well placed to go beyond that into the future. I think they're all significant. So where will we be in 20, 30 years? I'm not sure, but I think if you go into the lobby, you'll see Starburst on page 1. Thank you.